Your Zesty. What's up, everybody? Master of all things here, back again with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about UFC fighters that need to win this upcoming UFC 24, Gaethje vs. Pimlet. I'm going to talk about a couple of the UFC fighters that need to win, or that, need to win, best case scenario. Some of the fighters, obviously not all of them. I'm just doing most of the fighters that I do know, not the women's fight, obviously, but mainly all the main card, a little bit of the early prelims, and a little bit of the prelims. But yeah, it's basically just saying between these two fighters, which are fighting, which one needs to win for the best case scenario. Either they get a title shot after, either they get a ranked after, or the other guy just isn't better, in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get this started. For the first pick, we got Josh whatever the fuck his name is. He's versing against Freeman, and honestly, obviously we all knew him from the Contender Series, his little promo, and then the one he got after that, and then the other promo. He's pretty good. If you hear background noises, no, you don't. Excuse that. But yeah, basically, he's a pretty good fighter. Obviously, he only has 7 fights. I don't know how many amateur fights he has, but yeah, not that experienced. But basically, he's just one of the most exciting people right now in the division. So having him winning makes the heavyweight division, as shallow it is, better. So hopefully he wins this fight. He calls out the the guy with the man titties that got skinny. That would be a good fight if both of them fight. That would be an amazing fight because they both called each other out, especially because he was making fun of his weight, which is kind of funny. But yeah, right. It's easy choice, obviously, if you've seen what he done with the promo, with the Contender Series, and how he puts himself to the viewer. It's pretty good. On to the next person, Alexander Hernandez. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this streak was a little fluky when I think he was on a 2 winning streak before he beat Chase Hooper. I could be wrong, or I think he just won once. But when he beat Chase Hooper, I don't know. Chase Hooper is confusing because he looks so terrible standing up, but amazing on the ground. Like, I feel like he's kind of chinny. Like, I know people like Bedtime or Lucas, like I could call him, the next Oliveira, but I feel like he's way worse than Oliveira. Even that is even a tadpole Oliveira, I feel like was way better than this type of Chase Hooper we got right now. But not talking about Chase Hooper, but I thought the win streak was a little fluky, and I thought maybe Ferreira was gonna maybe outclass him, but no, he not. I mean, he was losing the first round, and then won the second. I don't know if I think the KO happened in the second round, but yeah, I remember it was a late stoppage because how many hits he was hitting him. I'm pretty sure he's early 30s. Well, Michael Johnson's I'm pretty sure either 40 or late 30s. So it's gonna be hard to push someone up like Michael Johnson, especially because he's decent but not the best. Like Michael Johnson, and obviously is good. Obviously, the memes of him saying he could beat Francis Ngannou, but lose to I'm trying to think of a trash ass motherfucker. I don't know why I'm blanking. But yeah, it's like he could beat a really good fighter, but then lose to a fighter that's so shit. So that's why it's confusing with someone like Michael Johnson. But even without that, even if he was consistent, at this point of their stage and everything, I think Alexander Hernandez has best possibility to win. Right now, I'm just I'm not giving my predictions on who's gonna win. I'm just giving out who's the best possibility that should win for the future of the career and the UFC. Oh, my bad. But yeah, he has way more mileage left. Michael Johnson, I feel like probably this year, if he loses, he might even retire. But I feel like one more fight after this, he's probably gonna retire if he loses on one of those. I think in general, he has way more mileage. He's in his early 30s. He has way better fights after this. I'm pretty sure. I think after this, he's probably gonna get someone near number 15 or at like 15, 14. He might even get Benio Dariush. Honestly, just get another rematch with him. He's Benio Dariush is washed right now. Yeah, 33. He he has like a couple years left, but He has to make it. He has to make it fast right now. That's why. That's why he's getting more fights. Cause I'm pretty sure after the Chase Hooper fight, he got the UFC Noche one like a couple months. Like it was announced like a month or two after. But yeah, that he should. The best possibility for this match is should be him winning. On to the next guy, Charles Johnson. Now, I hate him and I love him. I hate him because he defeated Joshua Van, defeated him, and then he defeated another fan favorite that was coming up. I don't know the first name, Kavanaugh. It was in Shanghai, so I was asleep during that fight. And then when I watched it, I bet on him. I bet on him just on a decision. And of course, the minute he just had his hands down for some reason, and then he obviously Charles Johnson is a vet, pretty much. He took advantage of that and then just boom hit him with that right hook. That shit broke my heart when I saw him just laid out cold. I'm like, bro, please, bro. Out of all motherfuckers, out of all prospects to do this, you decided to do it to him. Not cool. But I think between him and Perez, I think it would be a way better matchup uh, for the division if Charles Johnson win. Especially because he has a win over the champion. So he could probably get an easier way to get the title fight if he defeats the loser, maybe Brandon Moreno versus the other guy, or he might even get a Brandon Royval after this. So it's really up from here basically. I don't know what rank Perez is. I'm pretty sure it's like 8, 9. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's not that much higher. But yeah, his fights are definitely like if he wins this fight, his fights are definitely gonna be way better. So yeah, and he's not even bad. He was beating Atsu Amaya, or whatever the guy's name is, before he got submitted. He's not bad, so it's a hard choice. I feel like the thing is, bro, he defeats prospects, but then loses to people he should beat. I feel like so. Yeah, hopefully he wins. Hopefully we see a rematch between those two, if it ever happens. But it's just based on luck, especially because he's 35, so it's really just how his body feels at the moment, especially when you're in that age in the flyweight. Because that's any other heavier divisions, it's probably easier if you're older, just because you can rely on power, especially the heavyweight or light heavyweight. Most of them are old. Alex Pereira, Yuri. Okay, I wasn't giving the best examples, but there are older fighters on the heavier side. But yeah, especially on the flyweight division, like young young prospects are taking over that division, so it's kind of hard to keep up, especially when you're already in your mid 30s. But clearly Charles Johnson is good if he defeated Kavanaugh. So yeah, Charles Johnson has to be the winner. On to the next guy, Umar Nurmagomedov. Now this is not any Dagestanian glaze or anything, but it's just that like no one's gonna be excited for a Figueiredo fight after he got 50-45 badly. It was worse than when Merab did it to Peter Yan because he was holding him, but Peter Yan destroyed Figueiredo. So a fight, so it would be not that interesting. And it's not like it was a long time. I think it was literally like a year ago. Like I think it was early 2025 or late 2024 that it happened. I forgot. So it wasn't even that long compared how it was with Peter Yan and Merab, which I think was like 3 years after he lost to Merab, or it might have been a little bit longer. But so that's a factor that the title fight between Peter Yan and Figueiredo is just not going to be more exciting. I just don't think, and I also think Figueiredo is just not that good in the bantamweight division. I feel like someone like Peter Yan and Umar, who is good everywhere, ground and feet, are easily gonna take advantage of Figueiredo. Who I forgot the last guy. I remember some TikTok trying to help up this guy beating Figueiredo, and then he just blanks fighting him. The last Figueiredo match, he did terrible. I forgot his name, but he was just ass. And then when Figueiredo won, it wasn't even that good. Honestly, they both fought terribly. Umar showed that even if he's rocked, he's able to get back up when he took the punch from Merab and the leg kick that realistically should have rocked him even more from Mario Batista. he got hit by it and instantly went back up. So that's pretty good. So he has the chin, and it's not like Figueiredo has that much power from fly. Like it didn't translate that well from flyweight to bantamweight. So it's not like, in my opinion, a worrying thing to worry about for Umar. There's not really been a moment except for Chito Vera that he knocked out someone or almost knocked out someone. Even against the Chito Vera fight, he just got down but went back up. So it wasn't that exciting, and it's definitely more exciting for Umar versus Peter Yan. I think Peter Yan might win that. It matters how Umar shows against Figueiredo. It has to be more dominant, in my opinion, or equally as dominant. But in my opinion, it might just be a slow fight, and not the slow fight that it was for Peter Yan versus Figueiredo. Like probably a boring, like 30-27, in my opinion. Obviously, this one's kind of easier to predict on, but even if he wins, even if I didn't predict, it's still the best. It should still be the best possibility of what happens during this fight. Because Figueiredo, in my opinion, does have star power in the bantamweight division compared to Umar. I know he just lost, so he's undefeated, but still way more better than Figueiredo. Nothing about a Figueiredo and Peter Yan fight is gonna set any fan in 2026, if it even happens in 2026. Which I might lay out the other possibility later on that correlates with this. So let's get on to the next guy. Gene Silva. Now, I know I've been saying that Arnold, like how much I've been hating this guy, how much I loathe to see this guy not dead, knocked out on his feet, out cold. But in terms of his fighting style, in terms of what's next after if he wins or loses, I think Gene Silva is the best possibility to win, especially because Arnold Allen has a over 1 year layoff, and it may not even be consistent now. After, even if he wins, who knows when his next fight is, if he has to get another surgery or be out for a couple months for whatever reason. At least with Gene Silva, I think after he lost, but they announced it pretty quickly after his loss. I think it was like a month or two after. But obviously, I don't want him to win. I hate him, but the best possibility for the division and the UFC is for him to win, because he actually does have a name, unlike like a star name, unlike Arnold Allen. The fighting nerds, even though I hate them, they have a name. His name, I don't like it, but he has a name. His fighting style, I actually do like, and is popular amongst fans. The knockouts, the antics, which I hate, but it's correlated to him and his backstory. He makes people emotional. So yeah, how much presence people give him and how much star power he has, it's probably the best for him to win. Because Arnold Allen has taken too long to do that. Obviously not his own fault, because how much time he needed because of personal stuff and like injuries and stuff. So that took longer. So maybe if he was more consistent, I would choose him, because he's, in my opinion, a better person, better personality, better human, better everything. But how inconsistent he is really making me choose Gene Silva over him. Unfortunately. And the last fight against, I think it was Giga Chikadze, wasn't even that good either. So even Gene Silva's loss was more entertaining than the whole fight with Giga Chikadze, unfortunately. So that also puts it a touch down. So even though I hate him, he's probably the best possibility for the UFC and the fans. His fighting style is really good. It's like personality aside, if it was just his fighting style, boom. Even with the personality, you still gotta pick him against Arnold Allen. On to the next guy. We got Waldo Cortez Acosta. Now, we all love Derek Lewis. There's no denying that. But for him to fight for the title in 2026, potentially 2027, is not good, in my opinion. I don't think Derek Lewis. I think a Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Tom Aspinall would be way more exciting than a Derek Lewis versus Tom Aspinall. The only reason why it would be more exciting potentially for Derek Lewis is just because how much knockout power he has, and obviously against Teixeira, he showed it with how easily he got him out in the first round. I think it was like less than 1 minute, if I'm remember correctly. But which is very impressive. I'm not saying Kaziev was like a marauder, but it's still impressive for a week notice. And he's one of the few heavyweights that is interesting. So him fit, but I think him and people started to like him before he lost to the Russian dude. I think because he was kind of boring before, but after that loss, then the knockout went at for Tom Aspinall's friend, and then I forgot this. I know he. I don't know if it was before or after, but he definitely knocked this. The neck. All three of them were knockouts. So it's way more exciting in my opinion than Derek Lewis, especially because Derek Lewis is inconsistent. Obviously for him, he just cares about money. So him taking like 3 fights, he's probably not gonna do it unless he needs money. And I'm pretty sure I heard that he gets paid a lot, so it's probably hard for him to get more fights consistently. But for someone like Waldo Cortez Acosta, who's got 3 knockouts, who's potentially this fight's definitely not going to the judges, unless it's like a Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis, where they're both scared. I highly doubt it. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is willing to trade with Derek Lewis because he showed it against the 3 fights. But even after, I think he's probably gonna get the Volkov or Pavlovich rematch since the work he put in after the loss. I think he might fight Volkov for a definite #1 contender, and then Pavlovich reverse Waldo Cortez Acosta. I believe fought 4 times, or it might have been 3, and all 3 of those were knockouts. I think the first one was on a full camp, but the second 2, I do remember being on a short notice, especially the Kazia fight. I think it was like a week or 2 weeks notice, and he beat him in the first round. The Brazilian dude that lost to Volkov. I think that's the fight they're gonna make after he beats Lewis, because I don't think they're gonna give him the title, obviously, because Gon and Tom Aspinall are gonna fight. So I think they're gonna do a definite #1 contenders fight for those 2, and then he's gonna be versus Volkov for that. And then Pavlovich will probably fight. I forgot the guy's name. That's how boring he was against Volkov. But yeah, that's probably gonna happen. It's definitely the best, because Derek Lewis, I feel like if you just don't get like outside of his KO power, I don't think anything else he can really beat you with. Like how he was losing to Volkov, and then got the lucky 1-2 after the 3rd round. So he can definitely be neutralized. It's just that you just have to be worried. You just have to be worried till the bell stops to not be worried about it. Yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta needs to win. On to the next guy, Sean O'Malley. Now, as much as I'd like Song Yadong, as much as how I thought the COVID mask was corny as hell, it's way more. It's an interesting more fight because like the Figueiredo, he lost to Peter Yan. I know people are gonna consider the win against Peter Yan with Sean O'Malley not counting, like he got a robbery. Either way, how you put it, it's way more interesting than a Song Yadong versus Peter Yan, since he actually does have the win over him. And then they're both exciting, honestly. That's really it, honestly, for Sean O'Malley. It's just a more excitement fighter than Song Yadong. Song Yadong is more quiet, but people do realize that how powerful and how exciting his fight style is. So it's not that bad. The Henry Cejudo one didn't really help him just because how bad the eye poke was to Henry, and how he got the win after, and people were like criticizing Song Yadong for obviously making that mistake. I'm pretty sure it was twice during that fight, but yeah. But I do think Sean O'Malley does would make a more exciting fight if he wins against Song Yadong, especially because Marab and Peter Yan gonna fight. So and whoever if Peter Yan loses, they might just do a trilogy, honestly, and then Sean O'Malley versus Umar might be happening, but maybe not, because that would be Peter Yan's first title defense, and I don't know if they're gonna do a trilogy off that, but it would be exciting. So, but if Peter Yan does win, and then Sugar Sean O'Malley, I'm corny as fuck for saying that. Sean O'Malley KOs or has a really dominant performance against Song, I think he's definitely gonna get the title shot, and it'll be the first fight for 3 rounds. It was already good as fuck. So having a 5 round fight with 2 of them being way different fighters, that pretty sure at this point is definitely gonna be a way better matchup than the first fight. And that the first fight was already good. Pretty, I would say like fight of the year for that year. I don't remember what else. Honestly, I'm just saying that just to say that, but I do remember how good it'd been. So yeah, Sean O'Malley needs to win. Again, none of these, like my personal predictions, I'll release later, like this week. But these aren't fighters that like I'm hoping to win. I'm just saying these aren't fighters I'm hoping to win. Realistically, for my opinion, I'm just saying like what would be the best for everyone if they won. If you look at Song Yadong, Figueiredo, Arnold Allen, you have way more criticism than Sean O'Malley, Walter Costo, Gene Silva, Umar. Obviously, you have to look at the pros and cons for both of them, and obviously the pros for these people is that they bring in more fans, they would produce a better fight, and they would make the fights more interesting than compared to like a Figueiredo versus Peter Yan, which he lost terribly to. It's not going to be that exciting, especially because it happened less than 2 years. So yeah, that's my reasoning on picking these. These aren't like if I had to, I had Gene Silva lose to Arnold Allen, or make Alexander Hernandez like easily beat Michael Johnson. Like it's not like this is not. It's not, I'm not trying to make it personally, but it's just that these fighters obviously are going to bring in more people, or produce a better everything compared to the other guy. But other than that, yeah, let's go on to the next fighter, the main event. Now, I think it's pretty much pretty obvious why, since him and Tutorio El Chorizo, their beef, even though Ilya, if what Patty said was real, which I'm pretty sure is real, then yeah, is Ilya Taporia has every right to hate him. He has every right to hate him and not like him at all. Obviously, if even if he loses and it's Justin Gaethje, like no one's excited for a Gaethje versus Ilya fight, just cause how obvious, how boring it might be a little boring. I can see Ilya just saying like you don't deserve, you're a wash. It's like he might just say the same things he said to Volk before he beat Volk, like the press conference, calling him old and stuff. I could see that happening with Gaethje, but I don't think Gaethje really would really care or feed into that. I think Paddy Pimblett versus Ilya Taporia, the whole, even before the fight week, the press conference, I think them just going back and forth on the internet. Like as soon as Paddy wins, even it could be a terrible win or the best win. He'll be like, "You're not doing that to me. I'm a knock your freaking head off." Or he might be in the audience or the stand, so it would be a cool face to face. As soon as Paddy wins, but with Gaethje, this is not exciting because we know how chinny he is. Obviously we have to see how the outcome of this wins. But if Gaethje wins, we already know the cons of Gaethje and the pros. But compared to Ilya, it's really just terrible, and it would be a big, way less draw than it would be Ilya versus Gaethje. If it was Gaethje like 3 years ago, then obviously I think Paddy would still be the favorite to the more positive person to need to win. But I think Gaethje would bring a draw, the same amount of draws to UFC people if it was like 2 3 years ago instead of now, since like he's kind of washed. If he never took that Max Holloway fight, I don't think people would be talking about this. But since he did, the way he lost, the way he was already losing to Max Holloway, and the way he fought Fiziev aren't really fights that excite me for an Ilya Taporia fight if he would to beat Paddy Pimblett. But with Paddy Pimblett, obviously he had the robbery win against that the I forgot. I don't know why I'm blanking when making these videos. I gotta be more prepared. But when he had the robbery win, and then he fought Bobby Green, and then he fought Tony Ferguson, and then he beat not in order, but those 3 wins, and then Michael Chandler. Not the best wins, obviously compared to Gaethje. It's like night and day. Like Chandler, Ferguson, and Bobby Green, and right now in 2025, 2024 when he fought them, compared to Gaethje when he fought them in 2023, 2020. I don't think he fought Bobby Green, but still, those the fighters the same fights were the same, but the way the fighters were are two completely different things. Obviously, Ferguson and Chandler were like night and day compared when they fought Justin Gaethje. So obviously, I don't think Paddy Pimblett, like by virtue, he deserves it, but like realistically, the people he did fight to get there, I don't think he deserves. But doesn't matter. We still got this fight. And then at the end of the day, I do think Paddy Pimblett would be the better person to win than just engaging for these obvious reasons. Markability, their presentation, both of them, and like just the back and forth. Again, before, during, and after the fight, they're just gonna be talking to each other. They don't. Ilya Taporia has every right not to respect Paddy Pimblett for what he said against his country. Like, that's really it. I don't think Ilya Taporia really cared about Paddy Pimblett, and it's kind of funny how Paddy Pimblett made fun of Ilya Taporia, saying that he was gonna be a nobody, and then literally a couple years later, I think it was like 2 years later, Paddy was just still fighting for the rankings. Wow, I think Ilya Taporia was just about to fight for title, and I think he fought Bobby Green. I'm pretty sure Ilya Taporia was already the champion. So it's like, so obviously that's kind of ironic how he made fun of him, and then look how things turned out. I think that's funny, but even then, still, wow, that's gonna be way more exciting than Ilya versus Gaethje for obvious reasons. But yeah, guys, just a little quick video. As I said, I know I said that this video and the next video might be different. I think I'm gonna do this video, and the next video might be predictions. I'm still not sure. I want to release that prediction video before Friday, so maybe Thursday, Wednesday. Hopefully, I have a recording of it Monday. But I know it's gonna be a long video, so I'm not sure. But I'll see what I could do. But yeah, I just want to do this quick little video. I might have something out for tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. It matters how I'm feeling after work. I'd have to see, or if I even get the recording in edited and done by tomorrow, realistically. But I'll see what I can do. If I could get that, I'm definitely gonna release. I'll try to get 2 videos out that week. Obviously, that video, the one that might hopefully comes out on Monday, and then the prediction videos that are gonna come out somewhere between Wednesday, Thursday. If it happens Friday, it's Friday. But I don't really want it to be Friday. I don't want to do a last minute prediction. I'd rather just do it Wednesday, Thursday, so people have enough time to sit on the video and see and just make fun of me if I'm wrong. But yeah, guys, that's really it. Nothing too much. Leave your opinions in the comments. Subscribe, please. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.